Welcome to Weekend MPRE. This is a unique course designed to give you everything you need to prepare for the MPRE. This first lecture will address lessons 1 and 2 and discuss test strategies for the MPRE and talk about the exam itself. You need to understand the exam before you start studying so you can prepare efficiently. First, you need an attitude of confidence. You will encounter upperclassmen who failed the exam or who will tell you it's hard or it's easy. The reality is that it is an exam like any other exam, and you can master the material and master the exam. Have confidence that you will learn the rules and understand the test questions. Second, your understanding of the questions and their unique structure is almost as important as your knowledge of the specific rules. You need to know the rules, but you do not need to memorize them. You have 2 hours for the exam. You need to work quickly and efficiently to complete the exam, but it's just 60 questions, so you can do that. Remember that your score is determined by how many questions you answer correctly. There is no penalty for incorrect answers. So answer every question, and do not leave blank answer spaces. This can cause you to skew the order of your answer choices. Here's a step-by-step approach that I'm going to recommend you follow. 1. Read the call twice. Be careful of the negative call. 2. Read the facts. 3. Attempt to determine the answer before reading the options. Remember the 3 most common types of incorrect answer options: incorrect statement of law or fact, overbroad options, too general, incorrect reasoning in answer options. Remember the terminology in answer choices. The term proper equals good. The term may equals acceptable. 4. After you've tried to determine the correct answer in your head, then go through the choices and eliminate wrong answers immediately. Cross off incorrect letters of the answer choices. 5. Choose the best of the remaining mediocre answers. Number 6, timing. You have 2 minutes to read each question, answer it, and move on. Keep moving. Remember, people do fail the MPRE. Start by knowing the rules, then practice. Consider this. What's a passing score? Presently, MPRE passing scores in the several states range from 70 to 85. California requires a scaled score of 86. Questions on the ABA model rules make up 90 to 94% of the questions on the MPRE. The rest of the questions relate to the Code of Judicial Conduct. Look at your outline to see the list of subjects in more detail. Let's move on to Lesson 2. Here we're going to talk about the examiner's purpose and the scope of the MPRE exam. One very common mistake is to think that you can answer a question based upon thinking about morals or even real-life situations. That tends not to work on the MPRE. Think code. What do the rules say? What is the language of the rules? Now let's get a little bit more into the nitty-gritty. I want to talk about the difference between mandatory versus discretionary conduct. These 2 concepts are very important in the MPRE. Mandatory discipline means that a rule was willfully violated, or there's a pattern of violation and the attorney is absolutely subject to discipline. Key words to pay attention to with regard to mandatory conduct are as follows: must, shall, subject to discipline, disciplinary rule, subject to litigation sanction, subject to disqualification, subject to civil liability, and subject to criminal liability. These all relate to mandatory discipline. What is discretionary conduct with regard to the rules of conduct? It means that the rules are aspirational. If an attorney encounters a rule that has a discretionary prohibition, it means a lawyer will not be disciplined if they violate that particular rule. Key words signaling discretionary conduct are words like should, may, proper, and appropriate. So with regard to questions relating to discretionary conduct, what are some ways to eliminate wrong answers? Pay special attention to statements about the lawyer's or the client's state of mind. In many ethics rules, the propriety of a lawyer's conduct depends on whether he or she knows or believes something. Pay attention to words or phrases like knows, knowingly, concludes, becomes convinced, believes, and reasonably believes. Ask, did the lawyer know the true facts at the time he or she made the recommendation? If not, then he or she is not subject to discipline. So, that's the first 2 lessons already done. We've talked about the exam itself, the examiner's purpose in testing your knowledge of the rules, and a few tips for approaching the exam. Answer every question, eliminate wrong answers, and know the rules.